Hello and welcome to the latest Creative Expressions 30-day challenge video. Now today we are on day 2 and our theme of style is flowers. So with that in mind, I'm here to give you a couple of ideas of what you could create using some of our flower dies for your flower theme. Now obviously with our Creative Expressions 30-day challenge, it doesn't have to be a die, it could be stamps, it could be any form of flowers you wish. We are just looking for you to work with a flower theme for your card. So today I'm going to be using the Sue Wilson Cosmos flowers, but before we jump in and have a little look at that, what I wanted to do was show you how we're going to make our background. And today we are going to play with some Aurora Flakes. Now I don't know if you've heard of Aurora Flakes before. These are one of the latest products by Cosmic Shimmer. They actually come in 10 different colours. I've just hooked out a few of my favourites here just to show you a bit of an idea. But basically you'll quickly see that we have a colour and then a metallic shade mostly. So we've got silver in this one with a lovely metallic pink. We've got gold and green in this one. We've got blue and silver in that one, purple and gold in this one, and black and silver in the one on the base there. So out of the 10 colours, 9 of them will either be gold or silver with a colour flake. And then our 10th one, our Berry Blissful, is a lovely lilac and red colour. But I'm going to use the Icy Pink for this demonstration. So Icy Pink is, as it says, it's the lovely icy silver tone with lovely pink flakes. Now if you haven't seen Aurora Flakes before, these are very similar to Gilding Flakes. Gilding Flakes have traditionally came in just metallic shades of golds and silvers and coppers and bits, and they were really hard to actually be able to colour. The wonderful people at Cosmic Shimmer have developed a new technology which means we can actually colour them to shades instead, hence how we're getting them really vibrant blues and greens and bits like that, which are just so much fun to work with. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a sticky sheet that I've already cut down, and I don't actually need this one, so we don't have to be too precise, but this is just a double-sided sticky sheet on a piece of card. I'm going to pop that to one side and we're going to look at our stencil. So for this part I've got a woodware stencil that we're going to cover with some embossing ink. Now it doesn't matter here which embossing ink you're using, I want a clear ink, but this could be VersaFine, it could be an emboss pad, it could be a Perfect Pearls pad, a Perfect Medium pad, any form of clear embossing ink. And what we're going to do is we're going to pad over the top of our stencil. Now what we're doing is we're lubricating the stencil. We're obviously not going to heat emboss it because we wouldn't want to damage our stencil. But because if we don't want to damage it, I don't want you to stick it to your sheet. And when it comes to remove it, it'd be tricky or difficult and damage it. So by padding over with the VersaMark ink or any clear embossing ink, we've literally lubricated the top of this. So when we stick it onto our sticky sheet, it will come off in one piece and not damage it. Now the technique we're doing at the moment, you could actually do this with your dies as well. So if you don't have loads of masks to hand and you wish to do it with a different product, then actually try it with your open work dies. Now obviously you want the most open dies you've got. You don't want anything that's too solid because obviously there's no holes for it to go through. Well, we're just going to work on a little piece of a corner here. We don't need to do all of this, but we're going to take our flakes and we're going to sprinkle them on the top here. And we're going to use a applicator sponge to just go through the holes of this and burnish them down. Now obviously everywhere that your mask is now protected, and your flakes are going to go through all the nice intricate delicate holes and cover the background. So as I say, you don't want to watch me do all of this, you're going to get the idea pretty quickly. But basically they would now adhere down to the sheet where they were. And when we remove our mask, if we can get off of this, there we go. We can remove our mask and we can see everywhere that was protected by our mask is now left clean for us to work with. And in the areas our mask wasn't, our flakes have now adhered to our sheet. So we can take the flakes that we're left with and we'll pop them back in the pot so we don't waste anything. We'll pop our piece of paper to one side, pop the lid back on them because they do like to fly away, so we'll try and keep them as contained as we can. And we're going to bring in some glitter bits. Now this one is Ocean Spray, completely different colour to the finished example I'll show you in a moment, but I felt it might be nice for you to be able to see a really contrasting colour set. So glitter bits, if you haven't heard of these are another Cosmic Shimmer product. Glitter bits basically have 3 different size particles of glitter in one jar. So all the same colour, but 3 different sizes. And that's what makes that dancing in the light effect, because of the light is hitting off of all the 3 different size particles of glitter. So you've got that really full-on sparkle effect. Now what we're going to do with these is we're going to sprinkle them over the top of where we were working. on all that exposed area. I'm now going to use my finger and we're just going to burnish these down to fill in all of them gaps that we were left with. Now obviously, as I said, we don't need this panel, so we're just going to cover just that corner. We're going to flick off the excess, and what we are left with is a really beautiful design. So where the mask was is the part that is now that ocean spray glitter colouring, and where the mask wasn't is our lovely Aurora flakes. Now obviously with 10 different shades of Aurora flakes and really loads of different colours of your glitter bits, there's also a holographic glitter bits collection as well, so there really is a lot of options with them. The colour combinations you could create with this are quite incredible. Of course, if you wanted, you could use ultra fine glitters instead if you don't want to use glitter bits. We also have a whole host of biodegradable glitters now from Cosmic Shimmer that you could be using instead if you wished. Or of course you could use another colour of your Aurora flakes. So if you wanted to, you could go for another one of the 10 colours to actually do that effect with instead if you don't want to introduce glitter to the mix. So that's how you're going to build up your background. Now here's one I did earlier. Now this is using our lovely lilac and gold pot, and we've got our lovely crystal glitter bits in the background here. Slightly different stencil design as well, just to show you that you could use this with any stencils that you've already got, or of course there are loads out there available to purchase from our woodware and different brands under the Creative Expressions banner. So I've already put some foam tape on the back of this. We're going to just pop them ones off. And we're going to stick this onto one of our squares here. So I've just layered some of our Foundations Gold Mirror card and some bright white Foundations card to make up my backing panels. And then we're going to go on to looking at the bits on the card. So I have already embossed two panels, two bright white panels using our 3D Rose embossing folder. Now, if you haven't seen our 3D Rose embossing folder, this is actually one of my favourites. The joy of a 3D folder means that we have more areas to play with. Because they're a thicker folder, it means that we can create more of a domed finish to your embossing than a traditional embossing folder. It means we've got more height to actually play with and create different dimension. Where a traditional folder is just one depth, it's either embossed or it isn't. This gives us more room to play about. So I'm going to take a piece of our gold mirror and we're going to send that through the machine just so you can see how quick and easy you can create backgrounds like the one I've got there. And we don't obviously need this gold bit, but I think gold mirror is always lovely to emboss. I think if you can get a good effect from gold mirror, you're halfway there, aren't you? And this folder will also be featuring on Day 3's challenge video as well. I did tell you on our launch video that I won't be able to do every video, sadly, for the whole 30 days. But I will be here, obviously, today, and I've got one launched for tomorrow as well, or scheduled for tomorrow. And I'll see which ones I can do over the next 30 days. But this does show you, obviously, how beautifully that can emboss and what a gorgeous effect on your mirror card you could have as well. So we'll pop that to one side. We'll bring in our two panels that we already have, and we're going to get out our Cosmic Shimmer glue. Now, I love this glue. I know I mentioned this on yesterday's video and we'll be talking about it more again on tomorrow's video. But Cosmic Shimmer glue is a brilliant glue to work with. It dries clear, it has a really strong bond. It's just an amazing glue, really. These bottles are my favourite. We have them in 3 different size bottles that you can purchase. We do a small oval bottle, we do a larger oval bottle, and we do this tall skinny bottle. I personally find this the best one to squeeze, especially if you've got dexterity problems. It's a really easy bottle to work with, and there's nothing stopping you buying the bigger bottles and refilling this one. As you can see, my bottle, it's been a bit used and abused because I tend to refill it quite a lot. But the bonus is it has this little lid which fits on and stops your glue from blocking up the nozzle. And at home, actually, I know I'm at home currently, but we're in a different room. We're in the room that doesn't look like a bomb's hit it. But in the other room, I've actually glued this down to my table so that when I'm working with it, I can actually leave the bottle in there. And then when I take it out, the glue is already at the tip of the nozzle and ready to work with. And it means I've got a docking station as such to keep my bottle in at all times, so I don't keep losing it. It's less likely to roll off the table for me to have to go in search of it. We're now going to take our second panel and we're going to add our Cosmic Shimmer glue to this one as well. And we're going to add this one slightly overlapping. Obviously, we're trying to work on a slightly larger area than what our embossing folder would actually lend itself to doing. So we've got a bit of a join in the middle there. I'm not worried about that because we're going to cover that up in a second with our next panel. Oh, I know what we didn't do that I was going to do actually, and it might be a bit late, but we'll give it a whirl. I was going to use some of our metallic polish to highlight our embossing folder as well. So we're going to use our enchanted gold polish. These, if you haven't seen them before, you just literally build up a little ramp on the side here so that your applicator sponge is covered with your glue, not glue, sorry, your polish. And we're just going to bring that over the top here to highlight the top of our embossing. It won't make too much of a difference because it's quite a nice clear colouring, even if we do go over the edge with it, but it will add a nice golden hint to the top of our embossed areas and just give us a nice effect. And it will help tone in them colours that we have on our top panel as well. Now this card, I'm actually going to give you the opportunity to win this card. If you wish to, you can go on to Jamie Rogers Crafts on Facebook and I will post this card. And if you upload your entry or your creation, for want of a better term, that you have created using our challenge guidelines, I'll pick one lucky winner who will actually receive this and we will post it out to you anywhere in the world. Now hopefully as I pick this up you can see that lovely metallic enchanted gold polish where we've just kissed the tops of the embossing folder, giving you that really nice golden sheen. What we're going to do from there is we're going to bring in our panel we recreated earlier and we're going to pop some 3D foam in the back of this just so it's got a bit of a height to it. I love my 3D foam, I do tend to use quite a lot of this. Bring on a bit of this, and there we go, and pop that one in the middle there, remove our lids. And then we can add this onto the top. So you can also add a bit more foam if you want to. But we're going to go down and we're going to cover literally over the whole join here. So that's why I said earlier, it doesn't matter if you've got a join. We're going to bring our panel down or our diamond down. We're going to cover over the top part of that. So it's all nice and covered. And then we're going to go on to looking at our flowers. So we're using the Sue Wilson Cosmos set of flowers for this flat card for our flower theme. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually pick up our petals. Now these are all flowers. The really good bit with this flower set, and I ain't using the other side of it, I'm just using the solid, but we also have a nice lacy effect with these too, where the middle of these petals are actually left open. So if you want to, you could stick the open work ones onto the solid ones, and if you cut the solid ones out of the same sticky back material we used for our background panel, we could actually put Aurora flakes or the matching glitter through them as well if you wanted. So if you want a bit more sparkle, you can certainly do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my tweezers and I'm going to bend my petals up around each of my tweezers just to give us a bit of a cupped effect. I'm then going to bend the flower into the centre to give us a more 3D look. And I'm going to do the same with all three sizes. So this flower set actually gives you a small, a medium and a large with the solid, a small, a medium and a large with the open work. And then there is actually 6 leaves that come with it. It's 3 different designs and it's 3 different, 6 different, oh, I've got lost now. 6 sets of leaves. And you've got the left and the right version in 3 different designs is what I'm desperately trying to say. I can't work and think and talk. It just doesn't work. So we're now going to take our glue. We're going to pop that in the middle of this one. We're going to take our next one and layer that on the top of that one. And then we're going to take our third one and pop that into the centre. Now on my flowers I've done a few more layers, but more what I'm trying to show you very quickly is how by bending your petals up you've got a more 3D effect to your flowers. Of course you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can just round them as you normally would, either with a bone folder or a score tool. But that's one of the bits I really like about this flower. It's so versatile. There is just so many different ways you can use it. This Cosmos flower set literally is my favourite flower. I absolutely love it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our flowers and we're going to pop them on around the bottom side of this card. So we've got one large flower and then we're going to do a slightly smaller flower on each side of this one. Bring in the next one in as well. Pop that one on that side. And then we're going to go to looking at our leaves. So we'll bring in a piece of our sticky back from earlier, pop out some glue onto there. And then these are the leaves I was rambling about. So let's show you these in a bit more detail. As I said, you're going to get the same design, but in a left and right design. So if you look here, you can see we've got the left and the right of the large one. We've then got the left and the right of the medium one. And then in this set as well, you'll also receive one that's a bit more like that part on its own. It's just a smaller stem, and you get the left and the right of that one as well. So really good value for money. This flower set, I'm not using it today, but this flower set also has a matching stamp set to it. So if you want to, you can actually stamp your flowers, then use the matching die to actually cut them out. So you can do some really interesting effects by stamping and heat embossing your flowers and then cutting them out with your dies to actually coordinate, and you can create really lovely effects for them too. So do have a look for them as well. And they're the Sue Wilson Cosmos stamp set, obviously. And then we'll pop that set of leaves in there. And then I already have the word fabulous cut out, so I thought we would just add a bit of glue to this. I'm just going to use my Cosmic Shimmer glue again, pop a bit of this out onto the top of my hand. You could also use your sticky specs for this if you wanted to, if you prefer. And we'll just pad through this on my hand to pick up a bit of glue. Now, if you are going to be die cutting with the Aurora Flakes, you will probably find you'll get a crisper effect if you do a sheet of it. So you do your Aurora Flakes on a sticky back sheet and then cut it out, then actually cut your word out and then try and flake over the top of it. You tend to find if you try and flake over the top of it, you'll get more flakes sort of protruding out the sides in places they shouldn't be than if you do the sheet first and then leave them. And then all we're going to do is add a pearl into the middle of our rosette as such, into there, and then I would add a couple more pearls maybe to the corners and the points of my card to complete it. But this is more just a very simple way to show you how you could use your flowers just as an accent panel or piece on top of larger panels and backgrounds. So don't forget, your challenge today is to create a flower themed card, or a card with some lovely flowers on. You of course can use your dies, your stamps, your stencils, backing papers, anything you wish to create that effect. And then, as I mentioned earlier, if you do wish to, you can upload your cards to me on Jamie Rogers Crafts, or you can upload them obviously to the Creative Expressions official page, which is solely there for you to share all of your Creative Expression product creations. The products I've used in today's video are available on special offer through Craftmania, craftmaniacrafts.com, which is actually my store if you'd like to purchase them there. But they are all Creative Expressions products, so they are available through all of your leading craft retailers that can of course order them, or we'll have them in stock ready for you as well. Thank you so much for watching today's video. As I say, I am back tomorrow for day 3, and then I'm not too sure where after that you'll see me, but I promise I'll be popping back and forth throughout the 30-day challenge to hopefully keep you all on track and give you a few ideas. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Bye for now.